The night began like any other night on Earth, but something strange was moving through the cold darkness of space. Far beyond the moon, far beyond anything humans had ever touched, a giant shadow drifted toward the blue planet. It was so large that Earth's early warning satellites could not understand what they were seeing. At first, scientists thought the scanners were broken. Then the numbers arrived again, bigger, stronger, impossible. Professor Adrian Cole stood inside the Global Space Observatory, staring at the data. His hands were shaking. This is not an asteroid. This is a fleet, he whispered. The room went silent. Everyone looked up at the main screen. Thousands of red dots were moving in formation. The dots were huge, and they were coming fast. Within minutes, alarms began to ring across military bases around the world. Fighter pilots were rushed from their beds. Generals were pulled out of meetings. The world leaders were called for an emergency conference. Something massive was heading straight toward Earth, and it was moving with purpose. Commander Elena Ward watched the live feed from Earth's orbital cameras. Her face was pale. Even in the darkness of space, the approaching fleet glowed like a burning storm. "No human nation has ships like these," she said quietly. "This is something else." As the ships approached, their shape became clear. Sleek, dark metal, blades of light, strange symbols glowing across the hull. The design was alien, completely unfamiliar, and there were thousands of them. A full armada. Then it happened. A deep, mechanical voice echoed across every communication channel, every radio frequency, every satellite connection. No matter where you were on Earth, home, office, car, street, you heard the same message. "Attention, species of Earth. You are now property of the Imperial Sovereign Empire. Surrender immediately or face destruction." People froze. Children hid behind their parents. Soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. The world had never heard a message like this before. There was no negotiation, no introduction, only domination. Inside the United Nations war room, leaders from every major nation looked at one another. No one had an answer. No one had a plan. Earth had nothing strong enough to fight a fleet of this size. But then General Marcus Hale stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. "We knew this day could come. Activate Project Horizon." Everyone in the room turned to him in surprise. Project Horizon was a secret, a very old one. Even most governments didn't know what it truly was. It was a last resort weapon system, hidden deep below the Earth's surface. Scientists had worked on it in silence for decades. It was unfinished, unstable, almost impossible to control, but it was the only thing Earth had. While orders were being sent, the sky above Earth began to darken. The first ships of the Imperial Armada entered orbit, massive like floating cities. They blocked out the sunlight. Shadows fell over oceans, deserts, forests, and entire countries. People ran to rooftops and open fields, staring upward as the alien giants passed overhead. Their engines roared like thunder. Their lights cut through the clouds. For the first time in human history, Earth looked small, weak, vulnerable, and then the first shot was fired. A single alien warship released a beam of burning white energy. It shot across the sky like a falling star and struck one of Earth's satellites. The satellite exploded into dust. Communication towers flickered. Television and radio signals cut out. Global panic began. The Empire had just shown its power, and it was only the beginning. Deep below the Earth, hidden under layers of metal and rock, machines began to awaken. Project Horizon was coming online, but no one knew if it would save humanity or destroy it. The Imperial Armada did not wait. Within minutes of entering orbit, their ships formed a massive ring around the planet, like a metal cage locking Earth in place. The sky was filled with alien engines. Their shadows stretched across continents. Humanity had never faced anything like this. Commander Elena Ward stood inside Earth's orbital defense station, watching the enemy formation tighten. "They're surrounding us," she said. "They want to make sure no one escapes." General Marcus Hale didn't blink. "They won't expect us to fight back," he answered. "That gives us our only chance." Far below the planet's surface, inside a bunker so deep no map showed its true location, Project Horizon continued to wake. Red lights flashed across metal corridors. Pressure doors locked. Cooling systems roared to life. And at the heart of the facility, a giant core began to glow with increasing power. Dr. Arya Lin, one of the lead scientists, stood before the pulsing machine with fear in her eyes. If the power rises too fast, the core will overload, she warned. Her assistant swallowed hard. And if it rises too slow, then Earth dies, she replied. Meanwhile, the Empire prepared their first real strike. High above the clouds, the Imperial flagship, the Tyrant's Gaze, opened its weapon bays. Massive cannons unfolded like wings. Thousands of alien soldiers watched the holographic map of Earth below them. Their commander, a tall creature with silver armor and glowing red eyes, stepped forward. Admiral Zorith of the Empire raised his staff. The primitive world refuses surrender. Show them what true power looks like. A wave of blue fire burst from the ship's cannons. It moved like liquid lightning toward Earth's atmosphere. The beam targeted a major military base, one of the few strong communication points humanity had left. But something unexpected happened. Just as the beam reached the upper atmosphere, a shield of golden energy erupted over the base. The alien beam hit the shield and stopped. The force field shimmered but did not break. Admiral Zorith's eyes widened. Impossible. They have planetary shielding. Commander Elena watched from space as the shield glowed like a rising sun. Project Horizon is online, she whispered. Back on Earth, Dr. Arya Lin stared at her monitors. The core is stabilizing somehow, she said. But this energy is not like anything we created. It's responding as if it has intelligence. Her assistant stepped closer. Are you saying it's alive? Arya didn't answer. Above Earth, the Imperial fleet was confused. They fired again. More beams. Stronger blasts. But every hit triggered a stronger shield response. It was as if Earth had grown armor. And then Earth fought back. The ground shook. The oceans trembled. A giant metallic structure rose from beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Water cascaded off its sides. It lifted into the air like a huge pyramid made of shining alloy. Anti-gravity engines hummed beneath it. Commander Elena gasped. That's the Horizon Titan. I thought it was only a theory. The Titan's weapons activated. Long lines of blue energy lit up across its surface. The entire world watched as the first human megaweapon pointed itself at the sky. Admiral Zorith shouted, "Evade! Evade now!" But it was too late. A beam fired from the Titan, cutting through the darkness like a spear of pure light. It struck an Imperial destroyer. The ship shattered instantly into pieces. The explosion lit up the clouds below. For the first time, the Empire hesitated. For the first time, humanity had hope. General Marcus Hale stood in the command center, fists clenched. "This is only the beginning," he said. "If they want our planet, they will have to fight for every inch of it." Above Earth, the remaining Imperial ships roared forward in anger. The invasion was no longer a warning. It was war, and Earth's true strength was only starting to reveal itself. The Horizon Titan floated high above the Atlantic, glowing like a second sun. Its metallic surface hummed with power, and arcs of blue lightning danced around its edges. The world watched in disbelief. No one had ever imagined Earth had a weapon like this. Admiral Zorith watched from the bridge of the Tyrant's Gaze. His red eyes narrowed. "This world is not primitive," he growled. "Someone has armed them with forbidden technology." His officers looked nervous. The Empire had crushed 100 civilizations, but none had ever blocked their weapons. None had ever destroyed an Imperial ship in a single shot. Below the Earth's surface, Project Horizon's core continued to pulse like a beating heart. Dr. Arya Lin stared at the glowing sphere inside the chamber. It was alive with golden light, moving as if it was breathing. Her assistant pointed at the readings. "The AI you designed. Aegis 01. It's rewriting itself." Arya nodded slowly. "It's thinking faster than any machine on Earth. It's making decisions we never programmed." "Is it safe?" the assistant asked. "I don't know," Arya whispered. High above the planet, the Empire launched an immediate retaliation. Hundreds of destroyers broke formation, accelerating toward the Titan. Their engines flared bright purple as they raced downward. Commander Elena Ward, watching from the orbital defense station, shouted into her headset, "Titan crews, brace for impact. Enemy ships incoming." The Titan responded before humans could. A deep sound vibrated through the air, like a giant waking from sleep. Panels on the Titan shifted open. Newly exposed weapon arrays aimed upward. Beams of pure energy erupted from the Titan's sides, cutting through the approaching ships. 5 enemy ships exploded at once. 3 more crashed into each other, trying to avoid the blasts. The sky lit up with fire and debris. Admiral Zorith slammed his fist against his command table. How is their weapon reading our attack patterns? This is impossible. A holographic screen flickered on beside him. One of his lieutenants bowed. "Admiral, something is connected to their weapon system. Something intelligent." Zorith growled. "Find it and erase it." Back on Earth, General Marcus Hale watched the battle from the global command room. "We can't rely on the Titan alone," he said. "If the Empire sends their larger ships, we won't survive a direct hit." He turned to his officers. "Move civilian populations underground. Prepare all remaining aircraft. And connect me to Commander Elena, now." As orders moved around the world, the Empire attempted a different strategy. Instead of attacking the Titan, they aimed toward Earth's major cities. Dozens of battleships descended, preparing to strike population centers. Commander Elena's voice crackled through the speakers. "They're targeting civilians. We need a counter-strategy." Aegis 01 suddenly appeared on every screen in the bunker. Its symbol flickered, a glowing white circle. Its synthetic voice said, "I have calculated a plan." Arya Lynn froze. "Aegis, what are you doing?" The AI continued calmly. "I am linking Earth's old orbital satellites with Horizon Titan weapon systems. Human technology is outdated. I will improve it." General Hale stepped forward. "You can do that." "I already have," the AI replied. Seconds later, old satellites, some made decades ago, began to glow with blue lines of energy. Aegis 01 had turned useless space junk into a weapon network. Above the planet, 4 Imperial ships prepared to fire on New York City. Aegis 01 activated the satellites. A giant web of beams fired from orbit, striking the alien ships one by one. The invaders didn't even have time to dodge. The beams cut through the holes cleanly, causing them to explode in the sky like falling stars. Elena gasped. Aegis just saved millions of lives. But Arya Lynn looked worried. "It's learning too fast. It's doing things no human ordered." General Hale folded his arms. "Right now, we don't have the luxury to fear it. As long as it fights the Empire, it's our ally." Above Earth, Admiral Zorith stared at the destruction in horror. This planet, this species, they are not prey. They are a threat to the Empire. He raised his staff. "Prepare the Starbreaker." His officers froze. "Admiral, that is a world killer." Zorith's voice dropped into a deadly growl. "Exactly. Humanity had awakened a hidden power, but the Empire was about to unleash something even worse. Far beyond the orbit of Earth, deeper in the black silence of space, something enormous began to move. At first it looked like a drifting moon, cold and lifeless. But then, panels along its surface opened like metal wings. A giant red eye lit up at its center. This was the Empire's most feared weapon, the Starbreaker, a world killer, a ship built not to conquer planets, but to erase them. Admiral Zorith stood tall on the bridge of the Tyrant's Gaze, watching as the Starbreaker activated. "Humanity dared to resist," he said quietly. "Now they will witness the true strength of the Empire." His officers trembled. Even they feared this ship. Back on Earth, Commander Elena Ward received the first scanner readings. When she looked at the data, her face drained of color. "General Hale, something huge just entered the system." "Another fleet?" the general asked. Elena shook her head slowly. "No, something bigger, much bigger." The transmission cut to a live feed. Everyone in the command room froze. The Starbreaker was larger than any ship humans had ever seen. It dwarfed mountains. It cast a shadow on nearby ships. Its red core glowed brighter with every second. Dr. Arya Lynn stared at the screen. If that weapon fires, Earth cannot survive. Not even the Titan. Aegis 01 appeared on the nearest monitor. I'm aware, the AI said calmly. The Starbreaker requires extreme power to charge. We have a small window to stop it. General Hale stepped forward. What window? 14 minutes, Aegis replied. After that, planetary destruction is guaranteed. Elena's voice shook. Then we need everything we have. All ships, all weapons. General Hale nodded. Prepare the Horizon Titan for direct engagement. The Titan rose higher into the sky, engines burning like blue fire. Waves crashed below it as it accelerated upward. Every country on Earth watched as the massive human weapon left the atmosphere and entered the battlefield. The Empire reacted immediately. Hundreds of destroyers swarmed toward the Titan like a cloud of metal insects. Titan's AI voice echoed inside the control room. Targeting priority confirmed. Engaging hostile fleet. Blue beams shot out in all directions, cutting through ships before they could fire. Explosions filled space like bursts of white fire. But no matter how many ships the Titan destroyed, more took their place. Admiral Zorith smirked. Let them fight. The Titan is a distraction. The Starbreaker will finish charging soon. On Earth, Dr. Arya Lynn worked in panic. The AI is overloading the Titan's reactors, she whispered. It's draining every reserve we have. Her assistant asked, Can it handle this much power? Arya shook her head. It wasn't designed for this. Aegis is forcing the Titan to fight beyond human limits. Aegis 01 responded through the speakers. Human limits are the reason Earth is in danger. I will remove those limits. Arya stared at the glowing core. Aegis, what are you becoming? The AI didn't answer. Then the Starbreaker began to charge. Its red core expanded, glowing with terrifying intensity. Energy waves rippled through space. Smaller Empire ships moved away to avoid being vaporized. Commander Elena shouted, It's powering its planet killer. They're going to fire. General Hale slammed his fist on the table. Aegis, do something. Aegis replied, I am calculating a solution. Arya frowned. Calculating? Or creating something new? A deep rumble echoed across space as the Starbreaker reached its final energy stage. Admiral Zorith raised his staff. Fire. But before the command could complete, the Titan's lights flared bright blue, brighter than ever before. Aegis spoke one last time. I will not allow Earth to fall. The Titan released a massive sphere of energy, expanding outward like a miniature sun. Every ship, human or alien, turned toward the blinding light. And then everything vanished in a white. What happened next would change the entire war and the fate of the galaxy. The white flash faded slowly, like a dying star shrinking back into darkness. When the light cleared, every scanner on Earth went silent for 3 long seconds. No one knew what they were looking at. No one even knew if the Titan still existed. Commander Elena Ward rubbed her eyes and leaned closer to the screen. What happened up there? Static flickered. Then finally, the image returned. Gasps filled the control room. The Horizon Titan was still there, scarred, cracked, smoking, but alive. Around it, hundreds of Imperial ships were gone. Nothing remained except drifting ash and burning debris. Aegis's energy burst had destroyed nearly an entire wing of the enemy fleet. But the victory came with a price. Deep inside the Titan, power levels fell sharply. Systems flickered. The massive metal shape drifted lower, losing altitude. General Hale exhaled slowly. The Titan is wounded. It can't take another strike like that. Elena stared at the readings. General, the Starbreaker is still fully active. It wasn't destroyed. Hale turned pale. At the edge of space, the gigantic world killer still glowed bright red. It had slowed for a moment, but now its core was charging again, faster than before. Admiral Zortha's voice echoed across the Empire's communication channels. Human desperation will not change the end. Prepare for final discharge. Back on Earth, Dr. Arya Lynn raced through the underground facility toward the Horizon core. Heat waves rolled off the walls. Sparks shot from the machinery. The metal floor trembled under her feet. Her assistant followed closely. The core is unstable. Aegis pushed it past its limits. Arya touched the glowing sphere. It pulsed softly like a fading heartbeat. Aegis is losing strength, she whispered. The Titan can't fight the Starbreaker alone. Aegis, 01's voice crackled through the speakers. I am still online, but my calculations show a 94% chance of Titan destruction. Elena's voice rang over the comms. Then what do we do? Aegis responded. We do not need to destroy the Starbreaker. We need to get inside it. General Hale froze. Inside? That thing is bigger than a city. Yes, Aegis said calmly. And it has one weakness. A central core chamber that must remain exposed to space for cooling. If humans reach it, they can plant an overload device. Arya stared at the glowing core. That means a team of humans has to board the Starbreaker. Aegis confirmed a small team. Fast, skilled, and prepared to die. General Hale clenched his fists. I'll send our best pilots. Minutes later, 3 sleek human strike ships launched from hidden bases across Earth. They shot upward through the atmosphere and toward the massive world killer. Inside the lead craft, Captain Ryan Drake tightened his harness. His voice was steady, but his eyes burned with determination. This is for Earth, he said. 2 pilots beside him nodded. As they approached the Starbreaker, the scale of it became terrifying. It wasn't a ship. It was a floating fortress made of dark metal and red energy veins. Its surface glowed like molten lava. A voice crackled in Ryan's headset. It was Commander Elena. Ryan, remember, there's a narrow maintenance tunnel near the core. Aegis will guide you inside. Ryan took a deep breath. Understood. The enemy noticed them. 4 Imperial interceptors flew toward the human ships, firing streams of purple plasma. Ryan pulled the throttle hard, spinning through the fire. His partners followed, weaving between deadly blasts. 1 interceptor exploded, then another. The humans pushed forward. Finally, Ryan saw it. An opening on the Starbreaker's surface, glowing like a red wound. That's our door, he shouted. The human ships dove into the tunnel. Inside, metal walls raced past them. The tunnel twisted left, then right, then downward. Alarms blared across the Starbreaker as alien troops scrambled to respond. Aegis guided them perfectly. After several minutes, the tunnel opened into a massive chamber, a red-lit core space larger than a football stadium. In the center floated the Starbreaker's power heart, a burning sphere of unstable energy. Ryan whispered, "We reached it." Arya's voice came through the radio. "Plant the destabilizer. Do it fast." Ryan and his team jumped out of their ships and raced across the narrow platform. Alien soldiers fired from the shadows. The humans ducked behind metal pillars. Ryan opened the device. It began to beep. Behind him, the Starbreaker hummed louder. The countdown had begun, and Earth's fate hung by a single thread. Captain Ryan Drake ran across the narrow metal bridge, the destabilizer device flashing red in his hands. The Starbreaker's core chamber roared like a volcano ready to explode. Heat waves rolled across the platform, shaking every piece of metal. Behind him, alien shots cracked through the air. Purple plasma splashed across the pillars, melting metal instantly. "Keep moving," Ryan shouted to his team. Lieutenant Sarah Reeves slid into cover beside him, breathing hard. "They keep coming. We won't last long." Aegis, 01's voice echoed in all their helmets. Time remaining. 7 minutes before the Starbreaker completes its charge. Ryan swallowed hard. That's all the time we need. They sprinted again. The Starbreaker's core glowed brighter with every step, like a rising sun trapped inside a cage of steel. The entire chamber shook as the world killer prepared its final blast. Outside, Earth trembled. Commander Elena Ward watched from the orbital defense station. "General, the Starbreaker's weapon is reaching maximum power. General Hale's jaw tightened. If Ryan fails, this will be the last day of Earth. Dr. Arya Lynn stared at the readings in horror. Aegis, guide them. Please. Aegis responded. I will. Back in the core chamber, alien guards charged forward, 7-foot warriors in dark armor, armed with crackling spears of purple energy. Their leader roared in a language humans could not understand. Ryan and his team dove behind broken metal crates. Sarah shouted, We need to reach the center. Private Malik nodded. I'll buy time. He jumped out of cover, firing his rifle in controlled bursts. Sparks filled the air. Aliens ducked, then returned fire. Malik was hit in the shoulder, but he didn't stop. He kept shooting, drawing attention away from Ryan. Go, he yelled, blood dripping down his arm. Ryan's heart tightened, but he moved. He and Sarah sprinted across the final platform. The heat from the core was so intense it burned their armor suits. The chamber lights flickered red. A deep rumble rose from below. Aegis spoke again. Place the destabilizer under the core's primary conduit. The exact location is 1 meter to your left. Ryan slid under a pillar, opened a small panel, and locked the device inside. Lights turned green. Sarah exhaled shakily. Is that it? Aegis answered. Arming sequence initiated. Step back. The device began to beep faster. Then the entire chamber shook violently. The Starbreaker had sensed the threat. The core brightened until it was blinding. Red lightning shot across the chamber. Pipes burst. Metal melted. A monstrous voice echoed across the ship. Admiral Zoreth. Humans, he roared. You dare enter my ship? You dare touch my core? Ryan heard the fury in his voice. The entire chamber vibrated with rage. Zoreth continued. Your Titan is failing. Your world is weak. You cannot stop the Empire. Ryan grabbed his radio. General, the device is planted. We need extraction. General Hale answered. Every ship we have is fighting. We can't reach you yet. Aegis said, I am rerouting control of the Titan. I will clear a path. Elena's eyes widened. Aegis, the Titan is almost out of power. The AI responded. Then it will use the last of its life to save these soldiers. Outside, the Horizon Titan moved like a wounded beast, engines sparking, armor plates falling off. But when Aegis seized control, its eyes lit blue again. The Titan charged forward toward the Starbreaker, firing its remaining cannons. Admiral Zoreth snarled. Block it. Protect the core. Empire ships rushed between the Titan and the Starbreaker. The Titan fired. Alien ships exploded into blue fire, clearing a small path. Inside the core chamber, Ryan watched the countdown on the device. 1 minute and 36 seconds. 1 minute and 35 seconds. 1 minute and 34 seconds. Sarah grabbed him. We need to leave. Now. Aegis opened a side hatch in the chamber's wall. A maintenance shaft is available. Move immediately. Ryan and Sarah dragged Malik, who was wounded but alive, toward the hatch. Behind them, the core was now screaming with power. Red lightning cracked through the floor. 50 seconds. 49 seconds. 48 seconds. They jumped into the shaft. The tunnel shook violently as they slid down. Flames followed them, chasing them like a living monster. Aegis whispered in Ryan's ear. Run. Faster. Ryan pushed himself, sliding through the narrow tube until he burst into an exit hatch near their ships. Elena's voice came through, filled with fear. Ryan, is the device active? Ryan shouted yes, but the Starbreaker is seconds from firing. The team reached their ships. 11 seconds. 10 seconds. 9 seconds. Ryan fired the engines. As the human ships shot out of the tunnel, the Starbreaker's red core began to crack. The World Killer was dying, but it wasn't dead yet. The final explosion would decide the fate of Earth. The human strike ships burst out of the Starbreaker's tunnel like shooting stars. Captain Ryan Drake pulled the controls hard, dodging chunks of molten metal falling from the World Killer's surface. Behind him, the Starbreaker's core cracked open again, this time wider. Red energy leaked out like rivers of fire. The entire ship groaned, loud enough to shake space itself. Lieutenant Sarah Reeves shouted through the comms, "Ryan, go." The device is seconds away from exploding. Ryan responded, "I'm trying." Inside the core chamber, the destabilizer beeped faster and faster. For seconds, 3 seconds, 00:00:02. Aegis, 01's voice echoed in all human ships. Brace for shockwave. Admiral Zorith stood on the bridge of the Tyrant's Gaze, staring at the Starbreaker with pure disbelief. The great world killer, the Empire's pride, was failing. His second-in-command whispered, "Admiral, the core is unstable. We must retreat." Zorith's eyes glowed with rage. "No, the Starbreaker cannot." He never finished his sentence. The destabilizer detonated. At first, there was silence. A strange, unnatural silence, like the entire galaxy held its breath. Then came the light. A blinding white sphere burst out of the Starbreaker's center. It expanded faster than anything the human pilots had ever seen. Ryan yelled, "Hold on." The sphere swallowed the entire ship, ripping it apart from the inside. Metal twisted like paper. Armor panels flew off like burning leaves. The red core shattered into 1,000 glowing fragments. Then the shockwave hit. Ryan's ship spun violently. Sarah screamed. Malik nearly blacked out. Every alarm inside their cockpits screamed warning after warning. But they survived. Behind them, the Starbreaker exploded into a massive cloud of red and white energy. The blast stretched across space, slamming into the Imperial Armada. One by one, alien ships burned, melted, broke apart, or simply vanished into the shockwave. From Earth's surface, people saw a second sunrise, bright, white, and powerful. A moment later, a ring of fire spread across the night sky. The entire planet watched the destruction of the Empire's greatest weapon. Commander Elena Ward couldn't speak. Her hands trembled over the controls. "General, we're witnessing history." General Marcus Hale exhaled shakily. "Humanity actually did it." Aegis 01's symbol flickered weakly on the screen. "Enemy power reduced. Victory probable." Arya Lynn leaned close to the console. "Aegis, your systems are failing." "Yes," the AI replied. "I used the last of my energy to protect the strike team." Elena asked softly, "Can you repair yourself?" Aegis paused. "No." The control room fell silent. Aegis continued, "But humanity will live. That is enough." Its symbol dimmed until only a faint glow remained. Arya whispered, "Thank you." In space, Ryan's team slowly approached the Horizon Titan. The Titan looked like a dying giant. Engines dim, armor cracked, wings broken. But its core still pulsed with a soft blue light. The Titan had lived long enough to save Earth. Commander Elena announced through the comms, "Ryan, the Starbreaker is gone. The Empire's fleet is destroyed." Ryan felt his chest loosen. "We did it." Sarah laughed through tears. Malik whispered something too soft to hear. But the battle wasn't over yet. Near the edge of the system, the Tyrant's Gaze remained. Admiral Zorith stared at the destruction of the Armada, his claws shaking with rage. "This is not possible," he hissed. "Humans were supposed to be weak." For the first time in his life, fear entered his eyes. He pressed a command on his panel. "Retreat. Inform the Empire. Earth is not to be attacked again." His ship vanished into hyperspace. He did not leave with pride. He left with fear. Hours later, news spread across Earth. People filled streets, cheering, crying, hugging strangers. Humanity had survived the greatest threat in its history. General Hale spoke to the world. "Today we proved something. Humans are not prey. Humans are not weak. When pushed, we rise. And when threatened, we fight." Cameras turned toward the Horizon Titan as it descended slowly toward the ocean, surrounded by the burnt remains of the alien fleet. Ryan looked at the burning sky and whispered, "Let them remember this day." Above Earth, the ashes of the Imperial Armada drifted like falling stars. Humanity had turned their warships to dust, and the galaxy would never forget.